Yo, what's going on? We are back, episode 25 of the Off the Top Rope podcast. As always, one half the greatest tag team in the world. I am Chris, known as Southside Woodall on Twitter, and my tag team partner.
It's your boy Barry Season. We are back, 25, quarter from 100. Great to be here, great to be back. Hope everybody's staying warm and safe and positive.
Yeah.
Happy to be here, man. Top Rope Podcast 25. Let's get into it.
So last week we were not in, so we didn't necessarily get to recap Saturday night's main event. So we can run through it really quickly. 4 matches. There was the Undisputed WWE Championship match. There was the World Heavyweight Championship match. There was the Women's WWE Championship match. And then there was the triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship. I don't have too much to say about really any of them, but I wanted to kind of speak to the Cody Rhodes and Drew McIntyre thing. I feel like, and we talked about this when we were making predictions, I feel like they've kind of, I don't know if I should care about Drew McIntyre anymore. That's kind of where I am, and I really don't want to talk about the SmackDown that followed the Saturday night's main event. Honestly, I didn't watch it.
Shout to friendship, man.
You know didn't watch it. We were out on Friday, but
made that decision a lot easy. So.
We will speak on the notables, but we will not do a full review. But like, I do have a few things to say in reference to just SmackDown in general. And I'll get to that in a few minutes. But as far as this Drew McIntyre thing, I just don't know. Like, what's the point? What are we doing? It seems like every time he's put in a prominent position, at first it made sense. Like the whole being put in a prominent position and CM Punk screwing you over, it makes sense because that was an elite blood feud, bro. Carried the company in like the later half of their 2024, arguably before the product went a little, or got a little diluted. Because I don't want to pretend like all of it's bad. It's just not what it was when Triple H took over late 2022 or early 2023. So I don't want to pretend it was all bad. But a lot of people say, the season finale of WWE might have either been WrestleMania 40 or it might have been when, Drew McIntyre and CM Punk were feuding. But every follow-up that Drew McIntyre has gotten since then it makes me wonder, how many times are you going to send him off the edge before something comes from it, bro? He goes over the edge and loses to CM Punk. That's fine. CM Punk hasn't been in the WWE in 10 years at the point when Drew McIntyre and him started feuding. Cool. Get CM Punk over. Whatever. You send him over the edge with the whole bloodline thing. Then he's supposed to go bloodline hunting. Storylines inexplicably dropped and he's feuding with Damian Priest, which was entertaining. But again, who gets left laying at the end? Drew McIntyre. The Jacob Fatu thing, obviously Fatu got injured, so don't know where that goes, or if that's even picked up once Fatu is healthy. And of course this Cody Rhodes thing, it's I just don't know. The further and further we get away from WrestlePalooza, and of course me and you remember the report where it was said, Cody pitched to lose. And the idea would have been Randy Orton accidentally costing Cody the championship, and maybe Cody would win it back at a later date, blah, blah, blah. That seemed, the further we get away from that, and the more that I have seen the interactions between these two, and that's why it's also so frustrating, because I've seen a great match between these two on free television, and it's great, but something's not clicking. I don't get it. I don't know what they're doing here. And furthermore, I don't get the point of having Drew McIntyre lose. I don't get the point of putting in the stipulation of if Cody Rhodes gets disqualified or if he gets counted out, Drew McIntyre wins the championship. You do that, and Cody Rhodes still wins. You had an out. You had an out for Drew McIntyre to win the championship if protecting Cody was a thing. So I don't know. But I just don't know what to think about Drew McIntyre anymore. That's where I'm at.
It's just the allegations of Hunter being too safe. It's just... You had a great chance to open up a pay-per-view, PLE, with a bang. You know what I'm saying? It was opening a match to the PLE. You throw in the stipulation of, hey, if Cody, something like you said, if something happens with Cody, Drew ends up winning, it'll be a clean win out that protects Cody. Like you said, Drew, character work has been amazing since really a while. He's been doing the thing like consistently. He's one of the most consistent characters on screen, off screen, on the internet. He gets it. Like his feud with Naomi was funny like a couple weeks ago, and then like the lure is just starting to slowly fade away of Drew being this dominant top face guy who needs a title shot because he can be the face of SmackDown. There's something fresh. SmackDown it's been blah recently, and then like the way the match ends, it's like, do you try to tease a Cody heel turn when this is like, it's kind of too late for that because Cody heel, like we wanted it would be cool, but now it's just like, all right, y'all took too long for it. Like the spark isn't there. You know, you're making Drew look, I don't want to say weak, and then like last night or Friday, I saw a little interaction. It's like, what is this? Where do we go from here? Like, is it Drew and Damian again? Is it Drew versus Cody again? Because kind of getting a little tired of that. Is it Drew and Alistair? Does that move the needle? We don't really know. It's just all over the place, and it's just not making for a good product. Because Friday nights need something. It needs something fresh, and we just not getting it. Because like it's just the allegations of Hunter being safe and whoever's booking SmackDown of being safe is crashing. Because SmackDown was decent for like 3 or 4 weeks at least.
I was about to say there was like a month stretch, and I think I can't remember if they like went overseas or whatever it was. It was like a month stretch where I thought like SmackDown was really good. I thought things were turning around, and it's just I don't know.
Like this was a perfect opportunity. You know, we'll talk about last night. Is just like you don't need Cody being the champion to like progress certain storylines and other storylines. So this could have been perfect example to just start fresh. So hopefully they do something after Wargames because it's just cold water right now.
So I'll say this because I was gonna wait and give it its own segment. I was like, I'm most of my Twitter is like wrestling, and it's like wrestling, Falcons, and then whatever miscellaneous tweets are on there. And I've seen all the criticisms of SmackDown. I've seen the criticisms of the WWE product, AEW, blah, blah, whatever. The issue with SmackDown, and someone said this and I agree, is the vibe you get when you turn on a SmackDown versus the vibe you get when you turn on Raw on Mondays is so different. The vibe that you get from an audience on Monday night like we did last night, and yeah, you could say it's because John Cena was in the building, whatever, cool. Maybe so. Versus what I get on a random Friday night, bro. It feels like the immediate answer is like, yeah, like y'all need to do a draft. And maybe that will help. But you have to care about the show, bro. Sometimes it feels like outside of the United States Championship, the Tag Team Championships, and whatever Cody Rhodes is doing, that nobody cares about SmackDown, bro.
Like I told my coworker, I was like, you know, SmackDown, if SmackDown being mid, and if Raw was mid, I'd be like, you know what, it's just a dry season. Let's just carry on. But the fact that you could just tell that Raw is like the grand echelon of, it's just the highlights of, it's like, it feels like the only show that matters is Monday Night Raw. Like SmackDown is just, all right, y'all, here's just 2 hours of just, let's just do something for 2 hours and just kill time.
You know what's funny? So in the entire history of me being a wrestling fan, like since I've been a kid, a lot of people don't want to hear this, but like, or people, I'll say this, people who really know, but SmackDown had very much been the superior show for like almost the entire time I've been alive.
Yeah, I was telling,
like ever since the hard brand split was like put into place, and like they actually stuck to it. SmackDown was the superior show. Like 04, 05, they didn't have the Reign of Terror thing going on like Raw had going on. They had better wrestlers, better storylines. I remember like Paul Heyman talks about it in one of those documentaries. Like he got real heat for how good SmackDown was. Like niggas on Raw was mad at him for how good SmackDown was. I was telling my coworker, I was
like, look, Raw had Redacted being a villain, you know, Hunter, HBK and all of them. Mm-hmm. But like Friday nights was Friday nights meant something, bro. Like Rey Mysterio, Batista, Eddie before he passed. Like it was just the character. It felt different. It just felt like a good vibe of Friday nights in the house. As like you said, as a kid, wrestling is just perfect. It just all meshed together. But this whole, I guess, the Netflix deal of all right, this is they want we put all this money into Netflix. We got to just throw all our eggs into Netflix and just let Friday night be 2 hours of just killing time of just put out whatever we got. Let's just throw something together on the wall, see if it sticks.
Because to me right now, it makes me feel like I'm at the point where I don't want to review it because I feel like we only get two positives to talk about every week: the United States Open Challenge and whatever happens in the tag team division.
Yeah,
like that's been the case all year, bro. When we talk about SmackDown, that is almost the only thing we can talk about.
I was comfortable, I'm comfortable going out Friday nights now. Like usually, you know what, I might leave at 10:30, but now it's all right, y'all. What time we leaving? All right, I'll meet y'all there at 6.
Nothing I saw nothing I saw that happened on that Friday SmackDown made me feel like, wow, I really missed out. I will say I was interested in the Cody versus Aleister Black match, but then I heard Drew McIntyre was going around Claymore and referees and blaming them for his indiscretions, and I'm like, why are we doing this? What's the point?
And then I think we was out. I was checking the page. They had 20 tweets. You need more than that to make us care about the brand, bro.
And I want to say this: the handling. Actually, before I even get to that, I said a couple weeks ago, I don't feel like the Women's United States Championship was necessary. I feel like it was reactionary because you made a women's intercontinental title, and what you should have done, because you're already, first off, you need to stop firing women to have an actual mid card, but also you should have just spread that title across both brands. There is way more competition that way. I feel like it worked for the women's tag team titles. It's way more quality that way. But, and I had a conversation with somebody about this on Twitter because people are using the word burial, and I really dislike when certain words are used in wrestling if it's not that.
Yeah.
I believe two things can be true. Because Julia lost the United States Championship on Friday after 100 some odd days or something like that. 200, I think. I don't know. I don't believe Julia is being buried because you don't have a belt on someone for 200 days and it's a burial. But at the same time, nothing you did in the entirety of Julia's reign made anyone feel like they should care about her. And there was a report saying they did this because they're putting her in the main event scene. Okay, cool. I don't mind her going to the main event scene. Julie's a main event talent. We know because we did the research. Mm-hmm. But it's a general audience who's still not vibing with Julia. And you just having her belt out there as an accessory and not her defending it against the best that the division has to offer. You gave her a couple Zelina Vega title defenses.
Repeated. I think she fought Chelsea a couple times before that.
Nah, but I think that was her first time fighting Chelsea. But still, you gave a couple Zelina Vega defenses. I for the life of me can't remember if there were others, which is my point. It's a whole audience that's not necessarily rocking with Julia right now because you're not giving her enough to work with.
The point of a mid card title is to elevate somebody into the main event scene and make us feel comfortable. If Dom has a title match in the Royal Rumble, I wouldn't be mad at it. That's how good he is.
Yeah, that's
how he progressed a mid carder. Even though it's only been 2 or 3 matches, if Ilya fights Cody at the Royal Rumble or something in the next couple months, it would make sense. It just hasn't made sense, and it's easy because it's just book decent matches. It's not that hard to just book matches. You have the talent. Call some people up and just make us care about the product.
And it's so frustrating because we're watching them do it for every other mid-card title. We watched them do it for the men's U.S. title. We watched them do it for the Intercontinental title. We watched them do it for the women's Intercontinental title. Some people were saying Becky Lynch took it upon herself to make sure people care about that championship. And to be fair, she did that. But also, Lyra's reign was going all right. I kind of cared. I cared about the Women's Intercontinental Championship when it was around Lyra Valkyria's waist because they were giving her quality opponents. They were giving her stories, all of that.
Yeah, you made Lyra wrestle, and we started to love Lyra. So it's just
like, why can't you do it for Julia? You have to want to, bro. You literally have to want to. And having her lose to Chelsea Green, and I have no problem with Chelsea Green, but having her lose to Chelsea Green in a minute and some change is embarrassing, bro. Again, like, do I think she's being buried? No, absolutely not. But you're not doing anything to, like, make me look at Julia and say, like, yeah, she got next. Like, nothing about that United States title reign made me feel like, and again, granted, she may be, but nothing about Julia's United States title reign made me look at her and be like, yeah, like, that's somebody they gonna put in like big matches on the women's side for the next like 10 or so years. Like, that really, and I hope this isn't the case, that shit made me feel like they gave up on Julia. That's what it felt like. It felt like they just said, fuck it, it's not working. Let's just go ahead and get this belt back on Chelsea Green. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. The Westside Gunn thing. So, essentially, apparently this happened in like May, but essentially Westside Gunn kind of like drops a post and lets people know like, hey, like, WWE kicked me out of an event like a couple months ago. As a result of it, he's also had to change the covers of his albums because they are, I think they were like filing cease and desist or whatever for like using likenesses. You know, the original albums had people like Psycho Sid, Ted DiBiase and Virgil, etc., etc. I have already gone on record and said, like, I think this shit is lame. I think it's very lame, like, only because, well, not even only because, I spent the earlier part of this year when WWE was changing theme songs arguing with niggas on Twitter who would try to tell us rap and wrestling don't go together. Because I think that's total bullshit. Rap and wrestling absolutely go together. We listen to plenty like rappers, producers, etc., who wanted to be wrestlers, even if it was just like a plaything when they got older. Like, I vividly, I've never seen the Migos in concert, but you went too. But at the day one event they had in Atlanta,
they walked out Randy.
Yeah, they walked Randy Orton to the ring, and when Takeoff passed, one of the posts that Quavo posted, he was like, you know, me and you always talked about being, you know, WWE Tag Team Champions one day. Metro Boomin comes to all the shows, has all the belts, has been used in promo. Like, don't tell me wrestling doesn't belong with rap. That's bullshit. So that's number one. Number two, Westside Gunn has shown up to WWE events like that you wouldn't even expect to like see him at, bro. Westside Gunn might be at a random Monday Night Raw in fucking West Virginia because he loved wrestling that much, bro. It was a point where he wasn't even, like, if he would come to shows, he would never get highlighted on camera. I think one time they interviewed him backstage at NXT. And again, he's at NXT, not NXT on the road. NXT in the fucking Performance Center, bro. Because that's how much he loves wrestling. I think that shit is very lame. I think it sucks that you're deciding when rap is convenient to you. Because when it's Travis Scott singing 4x4 on Monday night, it's cool. When it's Meg Thee Stallion singing whatever that song is on your Friday Night SmackDown theme song, it's cool. But when it's somebody who constantly pays homage in all his music to every form of wrestling he watches, by the way, because he's huge into AEW, to every form of wrestling he watched, but now it's not okay and it's a cease and desist and all this other stuff. I don't get it, bro. Like, I think that's lame.
Yeah, it's like me being like a huge Westside Gunn fan, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Griselda, BSF, you know what I'm saying? Fourth Row Fashion Rebel. It's just, it really sucks because, like, growing up, it wasn't really like people like us who like wrestling. You got, like, you can name like a few guys who highlighted, you know what I'm saying? Wale had Wale Mania. You mentioned Metro and like the Migos and these other guys. And then for a guy like Westside, I follow his catalog for a long time. He's been doing like wrestling drops for years now. And it just sucks that, you know, you put so much emotion into a product that you love and that helps, you know, that you put emotion into a product you love and you consume it probably like we said, weekly or day by day probably, and they just do some bullshit like that. It kind of sucks. So I hope they do work something out, because Westside, I can imagine like a product you love kind of like turning their back on you has to like really suck. So I really hope they figure something out. Support Westside Gunn. You know, he got Fourth Rope. He got a lot of independent stuff. He truly loves the game, puts his time, money, and effort into it. So it really
when
sucks.
he doesn't have to, by the way.
Exactly. Like, So yeah, it just sucks, man. I just hope whatever they get resolved. Whoever the one person is who is like the cause of this, I hope they get handled or something happens because it really sucks to see as a fan of both the product of WWE and a Westside Gunn fan, man.
And also, not like this literally just hit me because you mentioned fourth rope. I also have to remember like that these things are hell bent on trying to make wrestling a monopoly again. And as much as I like the WWE product and the superstars they have, that should never ever happen again. It is okay that, and I've said this plenty of times on here, it is okay that you are not the only show in town. You are still the biggest show in town. It is okay that you are not the only one. I say that to say, I feel like, and this is going to be super petty, and it's going to make sense as soon as you hear it. I feel like they're doing this because, would you like to take a guess at who has ad-libs on the Hurt Syndicate song?
Boom, 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 boom.
Exactly. And would you like to take a guess at who these niggas are trying to put out of business? Exactly. I don't know, bro. It's petty. I don't get it. Like you said, I would hope something gets worked out. I really do. But again, my issue is, like you said, we're fans of both, but don't choose when rap culture and all this other stuff is convenient to your product when someone has been genuinely supporting it from day one.
You have like a general fan who's been with the product before it got popular, because it has been a rise of popularity in WWE. You could tell that from like who they bring to the shows, because it's like, all right, you could tell some random Netflix show doesn't really care about wrestling like the way some of these other guys does. Even like Wale said he barely got like it was an interview. You could tell like he was salty, but he didn't want to get too much into it. But it's like Wale has been around wrestling for years, and it can't be too much to just, hey, Wale, let's partner with Wale for Wale Mania. It's WrestleMania weekend. You can collab, you know what I'm saying, certain demographics to the product, and it's just shallow because it could just be so much better, and you can just make the sport so much better, so much popular, and just connect with different demographics. But they just pick and choose when they want to, highlight us. So it just sucks.
SmackDown versus Raw, the anniversary, I believe it was 20 years ago today. Let me double check because I did see the tweet earlier.
I think what was it? 06 was today. I think 07 was yesterday.
Oh, 07 was yesterday. Okay.
It was one of them. It's either 06 and 07. They both came out around the same time.
So 20 years ago today was 06.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday probably was 07.
Yeah.
Personally, my first experience with SmackDown vs. Raw was actually 05 because my older brother, this is like before I fully got into wrestling. One of my older brothers had the game, brought it over. So that was my first experience with it. As far as a favorite, I would definitely go ahead and say like 07 was like 07 is probably in my top 3 as far as like WWE games, period.
Mm-hmm.
My second would be, and this kind of has sentimental value to me because it's the first WWE game I've spent money on, and it's the first game I pre-ordered with my own money. SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. I thought that actually had like one of the best Road to WrestleMania story modes ever. And for that third one, it's really a tie between, I want to say WWE. Which one is the one with Orton on it? 12. And yeah, that's the one with Orton. WWE 12. WWE 12, and also there was a SmackDown, but it was on PS1. I think it was it's not Bring the Pain because that's Lesnar. I think it was just called SmackDown, or it might have been like SmackDown Know Your Role, something like that.
SmackDown Here Comes the Pain.
No, not that one. It was an earlier one.
Day of Reckoning?
I have played Day of Reckoning, but I'm just speaking on like well, yeah. Actually, yeah, Day of Reckoning would probably be my third. I just thought about that. Like, I really like Day of Reckoning. Like, some days I think about getting a GameCube and like rebuying the game. I love Day of Reckoning. I actually have never played Day of Reckoning 2.
I think that's the first one I had was Day of Reckoning. Like we said, representation matters. I remember seeing a black guy.
Yeah.
Booker T. That was my guy. Can you dig it? That was representation matters. And then going back, I think I had 07 first.
Mm-hmm.
Probably one of the best games of all time. Crazy soundtrack.
Yeah.
Little scrappy Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Making your own superstar, making your own moves. I probably didn't put that game down. for a while. That kind of took me away from like sports games. I remember I had '06 on PSP. Cause like back in the day, man, you know,
Oh yeah.
a game being $50 was crazy. So you find a
Yeah.
game for like $30, $20 on PSP, on a PS2, you was gonna cop it just because you want something new to play. So I remember I had '06 on the PSP, same thing, building your own character, learning about new superstars and legends. So
Yeah, I did. So I did '08. Here's how it went for me. '06 and '07 was PS2. '08 was, because that was the first one with ECW feature. I had that on PSP. '09, you know what it was? So '09, my uncle had an Xbox 360 that he didn't want to fix for whatever reason. They had the red ring of
shout out
death.
to the red ring, man.
Yeah, he had the red ring. He never checked for the warranty, right? So like me being me, I'm like, bro, like, let's see if this works. I called, the warranty's still good. I get '09 on the Xbox 360, and then the next year I get the same older brother that brought the very first SmackDown vs. Raw. He bought 2010 that year, so I played it on there. 11, I was on the PS3, and then 12 was PS3. I think I skipped WWE 13. Can't remember what 14 was. Like, there was a few years where I skipped, and then like, you know, obviously once it got back up to speed, I was like on the 3 or the 4 depending, and then 5 depending on what year it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, happy anniversary to like one of the greatest games of all time.
Shout out to Real Games, man.
Yeah, shout out to Real Games.
I don't know if it's nostalgia or what, but just back in good vintage games, man. They don't make them like they used to, man.
Yeah, that's a fact. Niggas like to give you the game and it don't be complete when it come out, bro. Like, you gotta patch everything. Like, come on, man. So before we get to this next topic, I actually meant to add this earlier. Did you hear about? Well, apparently there were 2 walkouts this weekend. There was a walkout from Andrade at a show in Mexico.
Didn't hear that.
And there was also, and this one was a big discussion. Tegan, well, formerly known as Tegan Knox in WWE, Nixon Newell, and I forgot her tag team partner, but apparently she's like a Trumpy and all that, so she's not going to get mentioned on this show. Essentially, they walked out of AEW, were sent home. There's a lot of speculation about what was what. They did not like the finish of a match, and they were essentially what happened was the week before they faced Megan Bayne and her tag team partner.
Okay, I saw that clip on
I saw
Twitter.
I saw the clip where they had to force them to do the spot, which was funny as hell. But then so they lost that match, and then this past weekend at Collision, they were scheduled to lose again. The match was supposed to be like 3 minutes. They kind of were just like, who does this help? Because they're not contracted AEW workers. Like, they kind of just trying to get work. But yeah, they were like, who does this help, to lose 3 minutes in? So I ain't gonna lie. I was thinking about it, and I really try to be like on the rest of their side when it comes to certain stuff. But I was thinking about it, and I was like, I was like, you just got cut from WWE not too long ago, and
you stay kind of hurt.
Yeah, I was gonna say your medical history is a little spotty. TNA for whatever reason isn't really taking a chance on you. I don't know why. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe the Fed got in their ear and told him like, "Hey, don't do that." I don't know. You're not a contracted worker, bro. I don't think you should, be showing up to shows and saying that doesn't work for me, brother. Like,
yeah, you can't Tegan Hogan this one,
Yeah, especially when
you're the new kid in town.
Especially when both companies have the problem of, bloated rosters and this nigga sitting in catering who probably shouldn't be sitting in catering. Shout out to the 2 women who pulled up at the last minute, which were, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong. I'm familiar with the second one, which is Maya World, because she's on Twitter a lot. I think it's Hyan. I don't want to pronounce that wrong. But yeah, shout out to them for stepping in last minute, being professionals. They know where their next paycheck coming from. Nixon Newell, you do not. As far as the Andrade thing, I don't have the full story on that, but I mean, I kind of made my stance clear when I found out he like walked out of WWE. Like, yeah, I thought it was beast, but also like, when shit affects other people, like I don't know, man. Like, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on. The topic of 2019 seems to have been rampant on Twitter because of the state of the WWE product. And I'm gonna just start off by saying, and I'm gonna let you go ahead, but I'm gonna just start off by saying that shit is way overblown, bro. We are so far past 2019, it's not even funny.
Listen, man, the North remembers, Pepperidge Farm remembers, I remember, you remember, but some of you dorks who just want to sound cool seem to have forgotten what life was like when Redacted was running the Fed.
Yep.
Stuff didn't make sense. Stuff just was blah. The booking was horrible. We talk about, Hunter playing it safe. Looking back, it's like, damn. You know what? Can't be too mad at it because I saw Bobby Lashley have 3 sisters.
Man.
I seen my GOAT get dog food poured on him.
They had a fucking a big dog mascot to try to make fun of. Actually, so look, somebody tweeted this out.
Yeah, you punch like the list you found?
Yeah.
Like,
and he said, it's so funny how people talk bad about 2019, but that was the year they literally gave you everything you wanted. Kofi Mania, Seth Rollins pushed to the top. Women's WrestleMania main event, Becky Lynch pushed to the top. Roman in the mid card. The Fiend pushing title run. A Rollins heel turn. NXT at Survivor Series. And all your favorites won at WrestleMania.
No, they did.
No, they did not. So I made a tweet with counterpoints to almost everything he said. As far as the Kofi Mania thing, the end result of that, yeah, he won the title. The end result was that Brock Lesnar squashing him in 1 minute, maybe less than that, on the season premiere of SmackDown on Fox to pop a rating, and for a bullshit Cain Velasquez match.
It wasn't even 20 seconds. It was jump on him F5.
Dog.
No, it was another Cain Velasquez no pop reaction moment. Because if you remember from TNA, you remember.
Dog.
So it was cool.
Seth Rollins being pushed to the top. There was a no contest Hell in a Cell when Seth Rollins was the world champion in 2019. A no contest Hell in the Cell. Women's WrestleMania main event. Don't have a problem with the main event. There was a 7-hour. That was the last one night WrestleMania. Because that shit was 7 hours and niggas couldn't get home from New Jersey.
That was 35, right?
Yeah.
Was that 35?
It was 35.
No, I'm just trying to think. That moment really almost never happened. So it wasn't like that was the way the direction was going. It probably would have been Charlotte versus Ronda, which looking back probably would have stunk. So
listen.
Thank God for Nia Jax and her heavy ass hand and breaking Becky Lynch's nose.
Here's my thing. One, yes, they were forced into a pivot. But 2, I don't remember that moment too fondly because it should have never been a triple threat. That is the most forced triple threat, and it maybe have like a lot of disdain for Charlotte. And maybe it should have been more so for the booker at the time. It maybe have a lot of disdain for like why it was so forced. The obvious layup was just Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey 1-on-1, and we never got that match. And frankly, the second run of Ronda Rousey was ass, so I'm kind of glad we didn't. But your best time to do it was probably at WrestleMania that year. But you decided Charlotte had to be involved. Don't know why.
And praise God for Becky Hogan on pinning Ronda, which was supposedly not the plan. But hey, it worked. So thank you, Becky.
Now, the Becky Lynch push to the top. You want to know what Becky Lynch's reward was the night after WrestleMania? Fucking fighting Lacey Evans, dude. Like, what? And then, a couple months later, her reward was being in a shitty feud with Lacey Evans and Baron Corbin. Which also, in turn, turned into Seth Rollins losing his spot at the top to Brock Lesnar. To win it back at SummerSlam, just for Brock Lesnar to squash Kofi Kingston on the premiere of Fox. So all of this shit is connected.
I don't know if it was 2019, but the storyline of Ric Flair getting Lacey Evans pregnant.
Oh no, that was about to be that was like 2020, and they were about to go through with until she actually got pregnant.
So yeah, man,
Hilarious.
Y'all just want to sound so cool. Just sometimes you just gotta shut up, man. Just appreciate what we got right now. Cause my thing for like the current reign is just safe booking. It's just not enough like risk taking, and like we want to see who we want to see, but nothing feels. Only thing that feels really too forced is like the Logan stuff, but you kind of got to accept it because all right, he does all right stuff, and hopefully with this current Vision stuff, it gets proper heat. That's my only positive for what's going on now with Logan is that we get like decent heat because Seth is cool, man. Like
I'm gonna just say this: it's impossible for. I ain't gonna say impossible. It should be impossible for the type of wrestler that Logan Paul is. It should be impossible for him to fuck up War Games. I'm gonna just say that.
Yeah, actually, like that's like the only thing that makes sense is like we're finally getting real heat on the Vision. Like Brian Breaker is badass. He's cool as hell. Seth, he got motion, man. He got aura. You can't really like boo Seth too much and not go along with his plan. And Bronson Reed just putting on. He's like developing into like a decent. He can be like a mid card in the future, and Paul Heyman is Paul Heyman. So that's like the only issue is just booking certain guys like Drew, like LA Knight, going back to like 2019, 2020, dark days. It was just forced. It felt like force fed being watched. So you really can't compare the two. We really can't compare the errors that we would say. So.
Yeah, but let me keep going on this list. And I actually forgot to add something until I just like scrolled down on this tweet. Mustafa Ali was supposed to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. A nigga who wasn't even in the match hit his entrance music, then just came and threw this nigga off the ladder and took the briefcase. Hilarious. Roman Reigns in the mid card. I guess. As I recall, like the nigga took it as a demotion. But whatever. I'll allow it because I know niggas weren't too fond of Roman Reigns just being the main event every pay-per-view, every week, whatever. Cool. The Fiend push and title run. I have two words for you. Bill Goldberg. The Seth Rollins heel turn, I will actually allow that. I did like the Seth Rollins heel turn in 2019. I thought the group was cool. It was unfortunate that they didn't really hit their stride. I thought it was cool. NXT at Survivor Series. NXT still lost, by the way. Like,
that's
NXT still fucking.
Is that
lost.
when Roman like was the only
pinned
person?
Keith Lee.
Yeah. Like
Roman Reigns pinned Keith Lee.
Well, actually, looking back, that was just getting NXT over to just compete with AEW. So,
and what happened to NXT as we know it? Now it's really developmental. All your faves won at WrestleMania. No, Baron Corbin is not my favorite anything, bro. And I don't know why you thought he was when you made this list.
Is that the one
when he retired Kurt Angle? Yes, it is.
Is that 36?
That is 35.
35.
That is WrestleMania. All of this is WrestleMania 35.
I'm trying to think because I know like 35 was yellow. I think it was like yellow. I think
WrestleMania 35 was the one in New York with it was the first time we saw that big ass jumbotron that they started using weekly for the next couple of years. And it had the sun, and it was gold and red and black. Yeah.
Dang, I'm trying to think.
WrestleMania 35 was horseshit, bro. I don't even know. I don't even know why I entertained that shit. WrestleMania 35 was horseshit outside of like maybe 2-3 matches.
Oh, Oscar versus Nikki Cross. Is that Nikki Cross? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll get behind that. Best tag team world. Miz and Shane McMahon. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I was about. You know what's funny? I was about to say like that show is so bad that like, and granted the match was good, but like the show is so bad that like Miz and Shane McMahon might have had like a top 3 match on that card. That's how bad that shit was.
This is a fake card. I'm tripping.
There was a Miz and Shane McMahon match on that one though. And that probably was
is that the one where like he like the suplex?
Yep, and it was a falls count anywhere. He suplexed him, but because Shane McMahon's shoulder was on top of the Miz, no, that shit was. The finish was so baffling to me on that. That's all I remember. The finish was so baffling that like you would put Miz through all that shit, like Shane punching this nigga dad and all this other shit. Oh, wait a minute. Nigga, they were running in 2019, they were running a Shane McMahon is the best in the world gimmick. Get the fuck out of Stop talking to me about 2019, bro. Until these are my conditions for you niggas to talk to me about 2019 again. One, we got to have a part-time champion that gets gas 2 minutes into a match. Two, Triple H got to lace the tights back up, get in the ring, and they got to run a best-in-the-world gimmick with Triple H, nigga. If neither of those things happen, don't fucking talk to me about 2019 WWE. Because I really just forgot that, bro. In 2019, they were running a best-in-the-world gimmick with Shane McMahon, bro.
Best in the world. Oh, who could have forget about Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder and winning the tag team titles at WrestleMania? Hey, man, great. That was a great.
How much time we got left, bro? I ain't gonna lie. You just pissed me the fuck off.
Episode 25. Just
like
straight.
I could really go into detail about how horrible 2019 was, and I wish you niggas would stop saying present WWE is that bad because it's not even close. If the worst problem present day WWE has is
LA Knight and Drew McIntyre not being champions, you know what,
dog? There's so much work.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Let's see Samoa Joe make Rey Mysterio tap out in 58 seconds. You know what?
2019 through 2022 in the WWE were years where like I thought a lot of these niggas would leave the company because of how they were booked, bro. Like there was a point where I thought like Kevin Owens is like one of my favorite wrestlers, bro. And this is when I wasn't watching AEW. So I was like, damn, like Kevin Owens really might not renew that contract, bro. Like Sami Zayn really might not renew that contract. That's how I felt, bro. Because I was like, yeah, like these niggas are being booked like bullshit. Like I know they're better wrestlers than this, but they're being booked like bullshit.
Oh yeah, Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar. Who was that? Undertaker versus Goldberg in a death match. Yeah, man. You know what?
Nigga almost killed. Goldberg almost killed Undertaker in Saudi Arabia because he can't. Yo, bro. Stop talking to me about 2019 WWE, bro. Please, like, If the worst problem is that LA Knight and Drew McIntyre aren't champions or that like booking's a little questionable, I promise we're gonna be okay, bro. Because that shit that was going on in 2019 was fucking egregious, bro. And I'm pretty sure I haven't even scratched the surface on that shit, to be honest. But for Shane McMahon to have gone around half the year being called best in the fucking world, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Into the Raw review, man. So we open with Diet Dana White. Triple H gives actually what I thought was a pretty good introduction. I won't lie to you. I won't lie to you. I thought it was a pretty solid introduction for John Cena. Not saying it was necessarily needed. I thought it was a pretty good introduction.
I'm just glad Hunter recognized that this is all part of his ego. It's part of stroking his ego. You know, man, this just never gets old, man. You know.
So here, and I'll say this: I think the funniest part about TKO trying to like position him to be WWE's Dana White is they're doing it in a way that like didn't need to be done at all. Like to me, everything he did pre-merger and like early in the merger kind of already signified what he was for the WWE, bro. Like you don't have to try them out there on camera every time. And at first, again, and I remember saying this on here, I thought it was cool. Like, nigga, I cheated death. Nigga, I should be dead right now. This company sucked before me. Like all that, cool. But like it gets to a point, man. Like you in the middle of the poster, like you know what I'm saying. I don't know, man. But
if they want, and I would say this, if they want to make Hunter like the face, give him like creative, get him like make sure he gets the final say so and everything. I
think he does. That's the thing.
Like don't try to like scapegoat of okay, we gotta bring back you know who to give us a big pop for ESPN debut show. Like that's my only issue with that is if you want to make him like the guy, make sure he's like running things. He's getting like the final say. So don't.
It's like I don't have a problem with him like doing media and all this stuff, but again, it's just because I think the he hates attention thing is a lie at this point. But it's just like he's trying. I don't know if it's him doing it. I don't know if it's them doing it. you're trying so hard to make something a thing that was already apparent before like he even started being trotted out in front of these cameras. Like, bro, the, anybody with eyes, ears, and all that knows like Triple H is very much like a huge reason why WWE turned the perception of itself around.
Yeah.
And like some people still don't, but like for the most part, I think a lot of people actually think WWE is pro wrestling now. A lot of people just thought it was theater. I know there's a Bryan Danielson comment out there where it's like, they're a parody of pro wrestling. A lot of people actually think of WWE as pro wrestling now because of what Triple H has done for the company since late 2022. So I just think it's strange to try to kind of like force it on people. And I think like putting them in the middle of these posters and stuff, it's a little too much, bro. Like it gets to a point. That's all I want to say about that. Now as far as the John Cena stuff here, man,
only a month left, man.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll recover from this. I'm gonna be honest. Like it's just like, damn, like never again, bro. Like you're never gonna. And if it's one person I believe when they say like they're never gonna, like, that's it.
Yeah.
This is it, bro.
Like unfortunately,
when we see him next week, when we see him at Survivor Series, and when we see him at Saturday Night's Main Event, that's it. We're done.
Like the worst part about this is like what we've seen in the past so much. Like we talked about like the Goldberg, the Undertakers, the DX versus Brothers of Destruction. It's like it just sucks that guys like Cena, AJ, Danielson, they got to be like, all right, y'all. Like, I used to want to do this for a while until I could, what I'm saying, until I could, go for it, until I barely got a little bit left. But now it's like, all right, y'all. I don't want to kill my legacy. I gotta quit the game before it quits me, and it feels like they're doing this a little prematurely, man, and it really just sucks.
Yeah. I will say I 1000% respect like leaving the game before it leaves you. And I remember watching the Undertaker Last Ride documentary, and he was like, one of the things he ultimately failed to do this, by the way, but one of the things like he kept stressing was like, when people see me in the ring, I don't want to be like a parody of myself.
Yeah,
and that's what John Cena is trying to avoid. And obviously the last few years are questionable. Some people thought he was washed. Some people just thought like he didn't have it anymore. He very much still has it. Like if he didn't announce a retirement tour last year, I think John Cena could do this for at least like 1 or 2 more years minimum. Yeah. To me, I feel like he is retiring because yes, he truly does want to step aside for the next generation. But also, I think he realizes like, hey, like I'm really getting like that in Hollywood now, bro. Like I don't want to give these people anything less than what they deserve. I don't want to come in and take a spot from somebody who builds equity with y'all 52 weeks a year, and I come in here for like maybe a month.
Mm-hmm. And one season,
and just like steal the shine. Like I really think he's retiring not because of age or ability. Well, maybe partially for age, but I don't think he's retiring for ability. I've seen enough during this retirement run to confidently say it's not a skill issue with John Cena. Mm-mm. It is 1000% John Cena as the man saying, I would be doing people a disservice if I continue to try to show up X amount of times in a year and not, give my all, knowing that I have all these other projects going on in Hollywood. But what I do, and this is to me, I think I'm exploring wrestling in different like companies now and all this stuff. But to me, I am at the point where I don't think my stance on who the greatest of all time will ever be changed. And that is for a couple of reasons. Maybe it's a little biased because it's the company that I've primarily watched, throughout my life. But also, people at the stature of John Cena do not do the things they do in terms of giving back. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hear people say they want to leave the business better than they found it. But that's not always the case with everybody. It's really not. And there are some things you don't necessarily have to do for someone when the show is about you and when things are about you that John Cena constantly does, bro. And has continued to do in this entire run. John Cena did not have to go down to the Performance Center and talk to these NXT kids a couple weeks ago. John Cena did not. To be frank, John Cena didn't have to wrestle Cody Rhodes twice this year and give him a mulligan for WrestleMania because, I mean, granted, it was bad for both of them. But John Cena didn't have to wrestle Cody Rhodes twice this year. I don't want to say this. John Cena didn't have to put over Brock Lesnar this year. He really didn't, actually, because they told him, like, you know, you could have won. Like, but John Cena didn't have to put over Brock Lesnar this year. He did. And as much as I hate it, yes, it makes business sense. It makes business sense because he said, ultimately, like, when I leave, like, WWE still got to open their doors for business. Mm-hmm. People of that stature do not always give back to the game or the sport or whatever, bro. Like, it doesn't always happen that way. John Cena has gone out of his way to, one, make sure there is a tournament to determine his last opponent. But also, the remainder of that Saturday night main event that is outside of John Cena, it was said that he specifically asked that some of the best young and brightest stars are showcased on that Saturday night's main event. Main roster talent versus up-and-coming NXT talent. Mm-hmm. And obviously, I don't know what that looks like yet because there's still a tournament for the last time is now in place, which we're going to get into, of course. But things like that, GOATs don't do things like this, bro. And that's why I don't think my answer is ever going to change, bro. I really don't. Like, obviously, there's the promos, there's the in-ring stuff, there's all of that. There's the character work, there's what he does outside of the ring.
Yeah, Hunter mentioned that too. Like, people have different reasons why they call the people GOAT, but Cena just...
He does he checks all of the boxes, bro.
And while being unselfish in one of the most selfish businesses we ever have. Like,
man, listen, I'll say this because everybody has their opinions about 2010's WWE, and there is plenty that I'm sure John Cena could have said no to, and the old man probably would have agreed because that's your cash cow. That's who bringing in your merch. That's who people coming to see every night. But I'm sure John Cena just did it and said, like, hey, I got to do what's best for business. I got to do what's putting the asses in seats, whatever. People of that stature don't do that, bro. And, like, when I say there'll never be another, it's not just about the wrestling, bro. We're not going to see something like this again. Like, none of it, bro. The Make-A-Wish, again, going down to talk to some people you don't necessarily have to talk to. We're never going to see it again, bro. It doesn't happen. That is it's not one of one. That is a one of none, bro. Mm-hmm. We're never going to see something like that ever again, bro.
It's 20 years of being the face of the business. Like, being the business. Even, like, when he wasn't around, it was, hey, do John Cena still wrestle? No, but he come every now and then. But when he does, like, it meant something, so.
One of my favorite things that John Cena has ever said on a microphone, because yeah, but and this was kind of rooted in reality. It was a scripted promo, of course, but this was rooted in reality. I think he was in their events and he said, like, you know, I was here when it wasn't so cool to be a WWE superstar. And if you know exactly what he's talking about. It was, aside from, like, obviously shitty booking, like, in 07, like, shit was looking bleak, bro. 07, 08, when that, stuff went down. You know who was leading the charge, waving the company flag? John Cena, bro. Shit like this doesn't happen. I really hope, and I'm really glad he's getting his flowers now, and I'm glad, like, people are over the whole, Cena could never, some people aren't, but, like, people are over the whole, Cena could never wrestle, and blah, 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 blah. He deserves his flowers because nobody does things like this, bro. Like, I don't think it's hyperbole to say we will never see that again, bro. Yeah. I truly believe that. Wrestling is an inherently selfish business, bro. It's about getting to the top, staying there. And he has gotten to the top and stayed there, but has still given so much back to the business. Like, we really just won't see it again. Now, into the match with Dominik. Obviously, this comes about, and I want to say, like, Dominik did an incredible job these past 2 weeks of getting his heat back instantly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, as soon as niggas see him in front of his dad, He'd be like, "Oh yeah, like this is why we wasn't fucking with you, because you talking to Rey Mysterio crazy." And then he comes to the ring in Boston of all places, and runs down John Cena, calls him an old man, all this other shit. Man, the crowd not popping for Fine speech actually upset me though. I'm not gonna.
I think they was too lost in the moment.
Yeah, I think they was a little lost in the moment.
They was just too lost in the moment.
Yeah, but I want to, before we kind of, I mean, it's really not much to review in the match, but like I thought it was still special, but I want to get your thoughts on like what does this say about Dominik to be one of the you got to realize Dominik was in the, if this is the playoffs or the college basketball, excuse me, this was in the Final Four, bro. You got to be one of the last people to face John Cena in his hometown of Boston. So, what do you think this says about Dominik at this point?
Listen, man, you've said it for a while. If you could have bought stock in a wrestler, Chris would be buying everybody lunch forever because he believe like Dom is just, like the thing I noticed about Dom that in that promo last night, the man was chewing gum. Yeah. You know how hard it is to chew gum? That's one of that is one of the cardinal sin. That's one of the worst things you could do while talking on the microphone. For Dom to have the poise, the facial expressions, just the aura, like it's amazing. And like you said, man, he got his heat back in like 2 weeks. Worst part about it was last week he was in New Mexico and he almost got over on Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, he almost did for real.
Like he was
very close. He was very close.
Like I said earlier when we was talking about these mid card titles, if it's Dom versus CM Punk at the Royal Rumble or what's the February EC, if it's like if it's Dom fighting for a world title in March, hell WrestleMania or I'm not mad at it because he just strap him to the moon. Like him and Bronson can carry. Him and Braun could be like the face of the company. They can get the old guys a break because listen, we in good hands now because Dom has just been. He just got it. He just does what he does, man. And the match was amazing. Like the match, it was a good match. You can't be Super Cena, so I'm not mad at it. The match wasn't like some work rate epic or some shit like that, like the past few John Cena matches have been.
But it was a lot of people say like it was the simplicity in it, and it was just like the moments and the spots hidden in the right places. The Eddie Guerrero stuff, that man, it really pains me that John Cena is gonna be gone after these next three dates, bro, because he's just having so much fun out there, dog. Like I'm watching the Eddie Guerrero spot. Dom tries to set him up for it. Cena, what I'm saying, knowing knowing the game, he get down there, he do the same thing.
Winks at him like
it's the
small
stuff. But it was, to me, it was just the simplicity in the match. Guys essentially playing their roles and doing all the right things. And also the crowd, man, like again, I know it's because it's Boston, I know it's because John Cena's there, but like you can't beat a hot crowd. You can't beat a hot and invested crowd, bro.
Yeah, man. It makes so much for a good show.
Yeah, like so there are a few times where Triple H would tweet out and say like, this is gonna be special or this is gonna be history, blah blah blah, and like he don't deliver. This delivered in every single way. Like legitimately, it felt like a special night. The moment it came on air, really, and the moment they played it up to where they were and what was going on.
Like last night felt like a complete off the rail. Like I ain't gonna lie, I did not think they would pull. I didn't think Cena would retire before getting the IC title, but the fact they gave it to him, it just levels to it, man. I'm glad they finally delivered. They finally didn't play it safe this time.
And it's like up until that point, he had never challenged for it, bro. Like as far as I've done my research on this because that was my favorite fun fact for a while. Mm-hmm. He had never challenged for that title. He had never won that title, which I now that I think about it, it's kind of crazy to me just because of like all the side quests that I guess John Cena has been on. And as far as I remember, like the IC title was in pretty close proximity to him almost his whole career in terms of like it being on that brand, whatever. Mm-hmm. But again, this just doesn't happen for people that great. But like how often do you just get to check something
Off your bucket list.
And Joe Test said this like you wouldn't know it, but I mean, essentially John Cena had an empty spot on the mantle, bro.
Yeah.
There was no Intercontinental Championship on there before last night, bro. Like, that's incredible to me. So I was really pleased with that. I don't have any complaints. I know people are kind of just like, well, why take that off a young Dominik Mysterio? I think in the long run he'll be fine. He's 28 years old. Mm-hmm. He's still the AAA champion.
Crazy motion. It makes crazy motion.
Crazy motion.
And it kind of helps with the Judgment Day breakup, you know.
Yeah.
So we'll see next week.
I was gonna say that absolutely should play into the story. Like, Judgment Day didn't help him. The El Grandes didn't help him. Hey man, I think it's finally heating up. I think we're finally gonna
This is how you book a title change into a storyline and have it make sense, man.
I think we'll finally have a worthwhile payoff. And also, like, I thought he had a very quality reign. Like, it got
better as an end because he finally got healthy. Because that was the thing. They people was like, he's not fighting enough. But
I was like, well,
the bro was hurt, bro.
His ribs was hurt.
Like,
but yeah, and also that's an example of what you should have done with Julia, like, to make people care and get people invested. Because we saw the crowd perception of Dominik change WrestleMania and like post WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Now with that, the last time is now tournament began. This is a 16-man tournament. Some of the participants have been announced, but they are being announced at random, so we're not necessarily going to know them all at once. They haven't even posted a bracket, so I don't even know who the winner of what faces right now. Yeah. Last night we got Rusev versus Damian Priest. Almost said Aleister Black for some reason. And Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Next week, we're in for a good one. We're getting Javon Evans versus the returning ring general Gunther in Madison Square Garden, bro. 21 years old. Javon Evans doing the damn thing, bro. Good luck to you, because Gunther is no easy feat. I'll tell you that.
I'm just a tad salty. This is how they return Gunther. Like, I feel like Gunther should have had like a random ass, no detail, but I'm not mad at it. It's gonna be some real grabs, man.
And the ones that are going down on SmackDown on Friday, I believe it's The Miz versus Jey Uso. Or they've announced The Miz versus Jey Uso, I should say that. And there's also LA Knight versus a mystery opponent. And next Monday, Solo Sikoa versus a mystery opponent as well.
Chris Jericho.
God, I hope not. But I will go out on a limb and say I don't know who gets what mystery opponent. So I believe one of the mystery opponents for sure is Joe Hendry. And people don't. I don't know why people don't like Joe Hendry. Like, he's not the worst wrestler in the world. He's very much like. I think he can work. Do I think he should get the last John Cena match? No, but like, I think he can work. And I'm going out on a limb, and a lot of people who are LA Knight fans may not like this, but that surprise for him might be Obafemi. Might be. A lot of other people are speculating like, oh, one of them's gonna be Matt Cardona. I don't know. I think it's Obafemi.
I'm not gonna lie, LA Knight, I love you, but
if
it is Oba.
If it's Oba, you just gotta.
I'm sorry, old Yender, old Yerner.
you just gotta bite the bullet, brother. You've done it enough, but yeah.
We'll see you in the Royal Rumble. You might win that one. You know?
Shit. But on to the Rusev and Damian Priest match in the first matchup of the Time Is Now tournament. No real complaints, but I was pleasantly surprised that Rusev getting the win. I won't lie to you. Like, I really thought Priest would get a win. Rusev has history with Cena, so I don't mind it. I've seen a couple of the Cena and Rusev matches. I kind of enjoyed them. I think the best one was probably their WrestleMania match for the U.S. title. So the history is there. Not mad at it at all. After this segment, we got CM Punk, essentially step into the Vision and Logan Paul after the events of last week, which was Logan Paul sucker punching CM Punk after the main event of Monday Night Raw. And it looks like War Games is kind of, being made clear on both the men's and the women's side. We'll get into the women's side later. As far as the men's, it looks like Jey Uso has aligned himself with CM Punk. No surprise there. That is the main event scene of Monday Night Raw. But QB1 seems to have inserted himself into the Vision / War Games business, which I don't mind at all. As far as from a like having your stars team up, I don't mind that at all. But I do want to speak to the War Games concept in general.
Make it through the last year.
That was about to be my question.
Just simple as that. We ain't got to beat around it, but just make it be the last.
And I was about to say, yeah, War Games and Blood and Guts as well, because that's AEW's War Games, but like both of them it's the same thing, different names.
But they killed the vibe.
To me, the builds around it are so that first year they brought it to the main roster, extremely well done to me. The stories made sense. That was when Sammy was just getting over with the bloodline. I thought it made perfect sense.
Yeah.
Nothing felt thrown together.
Last year made sense. Last year gave us a good moment of, the Punk and Roman. the Roman and Punk stuff. I owe you a favor. Now that led into WrestleMania. But
so I will say this. Last year made sense, but the build was a little like lackluster to me. And this is why. The CM Punk and Roman Reigns like temporary alliance 100% made sense.
Yeah.
Because in the build to this, like they use the very real, real life situation of Paul Heyman and CM Punk are best friends. Like in real life, like they talk a lot. Paul Heyman was the one to, if you've ever seen that CM Punk DVD, like Paul Heyman would always go to bat for CM Punk when Vince didn't see anything in him and all this other stuff. So that very much made sense. But the way they went about like the bloodline business and trying to, again, like Roman Reigns has never apologized to them niggas, bro. To this day, Roman Reigns has never apologized to Jimmy or Jay. Shit was like very poorly. From that aspect, it was very poorly done. Like when I got the reunion of the OG bloodline, I didn't feel the way it should have felt.
Yeah, that felt like lackluster. And then looking back, you could have did so much more with Jacob Fatu in like that match. And unfortunately, I guess Brunson getting hurt kind of hurt things. But yeah, it just the build up was amazing. They could have did a little bit more with Jacob, like I said, and kind of being more destructive, had him more destructive leading up to War Games, make him like, because like we see what happens now. He's damn near a star. Like the way you're holding that off now. But yeah, this year, even like when we talk about the women's, this year just feels like it just doesn't make sense. But I guess if you
like, it feels like you're doing it for the sake of. And granted, I think it's the first Survivor Series in the stadium, so like they feel like they have to do it. That's fine, but like you can't. This isn't the way you're doing these War Games matches is not sustainable if you're not gonna like honestly tell the story. Because I don't, and maybe they'll explain it. We have like a couple weeks of Survivor Series. I don't have a problem with Cody Rhodes' involvement, but I don't get it.
I guess the whole I came to see one more time, John, I guess. But that's just like some cheap stuff that is just...
Yeah, like, it's fair that, like, he was there, like, him and CM Punk are friends, him and Jay are friends, and he wasn't just going... But other than that, it's just like...
It's an easy cope out, but I guess if you don't have any, like, time frame of taking the belt off of Cody, I guess it makes sense, because it's one of the big fives of the year, so... Yeah, man, I used to love the invasion stuff in Survivor Series, the SmackDown vs. Raw, cross fighting for each other, bragging rights. So hopefully they bring that back next year, and just
I'm not opposed to that.
It's gonna have to,
but it has to mean something.
Yeah,
like
we need some War Games moments, like you said. Randy coming back, that was a great moment.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy turning on Kevin, that was a moment.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really. Like last year, we didn't really get that. The match really wasn't that.
The match quality isn't the issue. Yeah. Well, actually, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it was last year. The women's War Games was bad last year. I remember that.
That's when EO saved that.
Yeah, but the storytelling and the build to get to War Games, like is either forced or non-existent with like a lot of this stuff, bro. Like I get that CM Punk and Jey Uso have been fighting division.
Mm-hmm.
I also get that, you know, Logan Paul is replacing Seth Rollins, I guess. Not in division, but maybe just in War Games. I'm very unclear on that right now, to be honest. But even that doesn't fully make sense. Like, it feels forced. It feels very forced.
And then, like we said earlier, you know, we just mentioned, well, barely no SmackDown talent except Cody, Nia and Lash. They booked them together. You know, you was teasing. You've had Charlotte and Alexa on NXT and Raw. So are they fully SmackDown? So it's just another issue of not making SmackDown.
Yeah.
Feel.
And I was gonna say, because you touched on the brand supremacy thing and possibly going back to that. The problem with that is they're not committed enough to, and I don't have, again, this is not something I have a problem with, but like from a logical standpoint, you're not even committed to the brand split for real. How can you care about brand supremacy when sometimes I can look up and Cody Rhodes is on Monday Night Raw just chilling?
I forgot what segment it was, but somebody was telling Nick Aldis, they was like, I forgot what it was. It was some slick of like, all right, y'all, we don't really care about SmackDown. I forgot who it was, but it was like, it was something dealing with Nick Aldis in the backstage segment. You could just tell, like, all right, SmackDown is just here just to be here. So
yeah, like I don't know how you can. I don't know what the next step for Survivor Series is, but you do have to table War Games because you're very much what you're doing now is what was being done with Hell in the Cell through the 2010s, which is just doing it because it happens to be the name of the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And not because it's the ends to a feud. Like when they was doing them Hell in the Cell pay-per-views, it wasn't guaranteed that was the last time you would face that person.
Mm-hmm.
When Hell in the Cell was around the early 2000s and like 90s, it's because that shit is supposed to be the means to an end. Like after I beat the hell out of you, we don't need to see each other no more for at least like a year or two. Like the way this CM Punk and Drew McIntyre shit ended, I think they've only exchanged words like once or twice, and that was for the Elimination Chamber.
Mm-hmm.
But it's supposed to be a means to an end, and if that's what War Games is supposed to be, then you don't need to bring it out every year and force a storyline if it doesn't really make sense. On to the World Heavyweight Championship title defense, and I do just want to say it is so refreshing that so far our women's world champion has not just disappeared after winning the title, because we know what the perception of that has been, which has been like, you know, you win the championship, we might not see you wrestle no more. So we've seen Stephanie Vaquer like a lot fairly recently. Crown Jewel this past Monday. I know there was a match after Crown Jewel, I believe, or the week after Crown Jewel, where she faced Roxanne, I think.
She faced Roxanne.
So I do love the continuity, and I hope that's like something going forward. And honestly, I think they're getting the message across the board because, you know, Cody Rhodes wrestled on Friday. CM Punk wrestled, you know, a couple days after he won the title. So I do think they're kind of getting the message.
Bullying works.
Yeah, bullying does work. I will just say, while obviously she came up short, I do think this is very deserved for Raquel. Has had a banner year. Has been a part of some of the better tag team matches, not just in the women's division, but across the company. Yeah, that one with Bianca and Naomi was stellar. So I'm definitely big on like wrestlers being rewarded in some way, bro. I am definitely big on wrestlers being rewarded in some way if they've been doing good work all year. So definitely think this was an earned opportunity for Raquel, even if it was just kind of a story advancement for something else. Like, I still think showing your audience that wins and losses matter, and that like these things these characters do in the show matter, I think that's important. I think this was a good way to like spotlight Raquel. And maybe bigger things are coming later on in the year. Who knows? But like, I think this was a great way to spotlight Raquel. I think she's been, for my money, probably the MIP of
the year for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Her and not ring work, but her and then Lyra's character work. They definitely up there for like improvements.
Yeah. Now, as far as the post match, did we really not see it coming? Did anybody really believe that Nikki Bella had Stephanie Vaquera's best interest at heart? Because I didn't.
No, you've been calling it.
I've been saying it for weeks. Like, hey, like Stephanie, don't open that back door, bro. Like this is the most obvious. Like, I'm finna, dude. I will say, brilliantly executed.
Oh yeah,
brilliantly executed. You know,
kind of. I forgot about it just for a little bit. Just for a little bit, you thought that it really wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, it was. They did a nice little swerve with you know Roxanne attacking her after the match. Which, by the way, props to Roxanne. Two victories over a Hall of Famer. By the way, like I don't want people to just.
And she was buried. All right, y'all.
Yeah, nah.
Talking out your ass.
That's why I said, yeah, we gotta be careful with the words we use when we're talking about wrestling. I know some booking decisions frustrate us, but Roxanne was not buried. And frankly, if you're in the Judgment Day, you're probably the safest you can ever be. Truthfully, if you were in the Judgment Day, you are probably the safest.
On TV every week, bro.
Every single week, nigga. I don't know when this would take place. Maybe Survivor Series.
Also, what a better way to turn Nikki Hill than in John Cena's hometown.
Yeah, yo, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, y'all chose a hell of a night to do this.
Hey, listen, man.
You niggas turned her heel in the town of her ex-fiance.
Got a little small details, man.
That shit is funny as fuck. I thought the black gear was a nice touch too, because I think it was like an homage of her kind of just like getting to the darker side. Let me ask you something. Do you feel like wins and losses should matter in wrestling?
No, I don't think so. Because it's good to get on TV. As long as you're not a laughing stock, I believe. Like I mentioned with the Kurt Hawkins? Like his losing streak was highlighted a lot. I don't really think it shouldn't be too important, but also depends on who it is. Like we mentioned earlier with Drew, with these losses, it kind of hurts. As long as it's not highlighted and you kind of protect like the integrity, I believe it shouldn't be like too much. You know, yeah, I don't really think so.
So here's why I ask. And shout out to Sean Ross Sapp, because I saw his tweet last night where he was like, you know, Nikki attacked Stephanie Vaquera, held the belt up over her head, and he was like, she lost like 3 straight singles matches. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, somebody else had quoted him and put a picture of Jey Uso. It was like lost every match to Gunther before WrestleMania. But I was like, that's not the same thing. It's not. Jey Uso won the Royal Rumble. Anybody can win the Royal Rumble. It doesn't matter how many singles matches you lose before that. It doesn't matter how many times you lost to the world champion before that. Anybody can win the Royal Rumble. If me or you enter the Royal Rumble and then outlast 29 other people,
we won the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, we just won the fucking Royal Rumble. Akira Tozawa can win the Royal Rumble and be guaranteed a world title shot. It does not fucking matter, because that's the Royal Rumble. But the past like 2 or 3 weeks, if I see you getting put on your ass and like you just won a title shot all of a sudden, I don't know, bro. I don't know. And his point was like, yeah, wins and losses should matter. And the other person who was arguing was like, well, ultimately it's up to the booker, if you know what I'm saying, if they want you to have a title match. I said 2 things can be true. The booker can want you in a title match, but like wins and losses should matter.
Yeah.
Nikki Bella lost twice to Roxanne.
Now it seems like Roxanne should have a title. But
yeah, like who?
That's just the unfortunate part of like wrestling.
I was gonna say, and Nikki Bella's a Hall of Famer, so like really, I can be. You know what I'm saying? If we want to be technical, Nikki Bella got more skin in the game than Stephanie Vaquera, bro. What's stopping Roxanne from going up to Adam Pearce and saying, "I beat Nikki Bella twice. Give me a title match"? What's stopping her from saying that? Like I don't know, man. That I think wins and losses should matter. I really do.
They definitely should, but I think that just now it's the storylines because it comes into play to that. So that's just like my only 2 cents, man. It's just how it's perceived and how you tell the story of what you're going to do. Because like you said, theoretically it should be Roxanne, but hey, in the words of Kevin Owens, some stuff just doesn't matter in wrestling. Because if I hit you, if I call your name, you come out to the ring. If I hit you with your title belt, I deserve a championship match. So you gotta love professional wrestling, man.
That's fair, because Kevin Owens does have a lot of logic. Also, speaking of, I meant to bring this up earlier. I'm geeked, bro. I know it probably won't be no time soon, but like he posted that video of him working out with his theme music playing, bro.
Listen,
and I was like, oh my god. And that is hopefully. So here's what I'll say, because sometimes it feels like being on SmackDown is a death sentence. But he was like very much like a shot in the arm that like SmackDown like needed, and it was a better show when he was there. So I would hope that like whenever he gets back, I know we're probably still a ways off. Like them neck injuries ain't nothing to play with.
yeah.
But I'm supremely excited that it doesn't seem like it's over.
Yeah.
Because when he told people about the injury, like it made me think like, damn, like this shit is over with. And he was kind of talking like it might be over. But yeah, keep recovering, rehabbing well, KO. We hope to see you soon and in the near future, because I need that. I need that Ilya Dragunov and Kevin Owens match. Like I need air. Nigga. Those are two of the most intense people I've ever seen in a wrestling ring. I need that. In another first round match for the last time is now tournament, we have Sheamus versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Listen, man.
You don't miss, man.
My Sheamus agenda is alive and well, because what Sheamus got out of 2025 Shinsuke Nakamura is something only one other person this year has done, and that is Sami Zayn. This was incredible. It was hard hitting, and to show that, like I said this earlier, how like I'm trying to make my foray like outside of like just WWE and watch other stuff. I ain't gonna lie, Sheamus got to get something put in his contract where he can compete in the G1, bro. That shit was like, to me, that very much was a glimpse of like what Sheamus being in an NJPW ring would look like, bro. Like a New Japan ring. That is what it would look like. The shit was stiff. It was hard hitting. It was everything it needed to be. And a lot of people probably didn't expect much out of that match, because again, we know about the present state of Shinsuke Nakamura. Like we know Sheamus gonna put on a banger, but like we know we don't know if Shinsuke good for it these days all the time. But this was, like I said, it was hard hitting, stiff. It was everything it needed to be. I have no complaints. You got anything?
Listen, like you said, man. Like part of me wants Sheamus to win this tournament, because of what John Cena has been putting out and what Sheamus has done consistently. This might be like the best quality match, who depending on who all these other two mystery opponents are, man. Because Sheamus John Cena match, like with so much emotion, like the ring work, the ring presence, it would hit. Because you know, the other person Sheamus fought in their last WWE match, Edge. And do we have faith in that match? Not at all. But them boys delivered. So if we get that, and that's how we get Sheamus in to finally get his
Intercontinental Championship.
Intercontinental Championship. I'm here for it. My issue with that would be, all right, where do we go from here? Because whoever beats Cena has to have like some weight on there. Who has to have like some some future going on. So would this lead to like Sheamus being a world champion soon? That's my only issue. But like right now, Sheamus and Cena duking it out for 20 minutes would just be emotionally invested, man. So,
like, I'm not gonna lie, I was watching that match and I kind of talked myself into it. Like, I know what the purpose of John Cena's last match needs to be, which is ultimately to like get someone over and have them have the essentially have it on their resume that like I'm the one that retired John Cena. Like, you niggas might hate me for this, but like that's what happened. Like, that's what the point of his last match needs to be. But I have absolutely talked myself into the idea that like Sheamus could be the one to face John Cena one last time, because like you said, the way he sent Edge out,
that was that was an emotional roller coaster, bro. Because usually like wrestlers usually lose in like their last match, but the fact Edge got one over and then like it felt like the end, and Sheamus is just super consistent.
I ain't gonna lie, to me, when that shit happened, and this is I'm not gonna lie, it's a little based off like what I've seen him do in AEW. That really should have been Edge's last match, bro. Like that, there is no better way for him to have gone out, bro. Like that match is perfect in every way. You were in Toronto one last time, like.
It was just a cinematic, man.
It should have either been your last match or you should have re-signed in WWE. I don't know, but like nothing he's doing right now even comes close to what happened that night. And that's not a tribalist thing. Like we both know I watch both, but like
only thing is like we get like well, I guess we did get an Edge and Christian moment, man. But,
yeah, which is fair. Yeah,
but that listen.
I will say this: I 1000% respect like going out on your own terms, and he damn near didn't have the chance to do that in 2011. Got a mulligan, got a chance to do it again. Came back and did some incredible work. Was a part of one of the what I thought was one of the better triple threat matches in the history of WrestleMania. Had some matches with Daniel Bryan as well, I believe. Had a match with Roman Reigns. Had some bangers with Seth Rollins. So I'm not mad at that. But just from a strictly like quality standpoint,
it's a layup.
Yeah, that is the greatest thing that he had done in that second run, probably that match against Sheamus. So I can absolutely be talking into Sheamus versus John Cena. That's where I'm at right now, because both of them are still putting on bangers, bro. Charlexa versus the Kabuki Warriors for the women's tag team championships. I was pleasantly surprised by the end result.
Listen, man, we just need some shakeups every now and then, man.
Yeah, which is fair.
You ain't gotta do too much.
But I'm not mad at it because again,
I think this progresses the storylines with Charlotte and Alexa. You get a good tag team because Asuka and Kairi, they might not be like world title contenders for like a minute, but this feel rushed
in terms of them winning.
Yeah, or even like the post-match segment.
Well, yes, as far as the post-match, absolutely. Just because, again, like, frankly, the Wargames just doesn't make sense to me this year, bro. It really doesn't. It makes sense in doses. Jay Uso, CM Punk, fighting division, makes sense. Cody Rhodes kind of makes sense because, like, Cody's just such a good guy, and like, obviously he was back there to support John Cena, from what we saw. But CM Punk and Jay are his friends, and he's not gonna let them go out like that. But other than that, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I don't. War Games seem pointless this year, bro. It might be time to go back to tradition. And the same thing with the women's. I can make a bit more sense of the women's field because obviously the Kabuki Warriors and Rio, which Rhea and Io, of course, have some type of history. Mm-hmm. Obviously, this wasn't necessarily over. And if you remember, what we saw last night, Rhea donning the face mask because when they were over in Japan, her nose got broken in a match with one of them. So I can kind of make sense of that. But in terms of the Charlotte and Alexa Bliss stuff being mixed in with, I guess, like Nia and Lash, that feels a little premature because the Lash just got on the main roster last week. Like, just. And I completely understand the forging of a tag team through mutual respect because we've seen it several times in WWE, like not even just this year, but like several times, like Sheamus with Cesaro, Lyra and Bayley, etc., etc. Even the Vision was, before that kind of broke down, it was a team forged in respect. Mm-hmm. Like Rollins was very aware of who Bronson was, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But it still feels forced as far as like any type of a rivalry. Like, to me, it doesn't feel like nothing that Charlotte, Alexa, and Nia Jax and Lash Legend couldn't solve on a random Friday.
Yeah, man.
They came to the ring and attacked you. Like, okay, fight it out on Friday. Let's move on. Like, I think my issue is because they set the bar a certain way with that very first War Games match they brought to the main roster, and because of the ones they had in NXT with Undisputed Era.
Bangers. I
look at it in the same vein as Hell in a Cell. You don't need to be in them 2 cages with nobody if you don't fucking hate these niggas. If you not trying to get rid of these niggas.
Yeah, we got.
That's why it works for Jey Uso and CM Punk. It doesn't necessarily work for me with like Cody Rhodes being in there. Cause you don't really hate these niggas. The Vision wasn't even really involved when you was going at it with Seth Rollins. Mm-hmm. It was made clear to them they need to stay in the back. They did. Y'all had like 1 tag team match along the way, and that was it. And y'all beat them, I think.
Yeah,
you and Randy Orton beat them.
They need to rev up these next couple.
Yeah, like
2 weeks. They need to rev it up. Like, I need to see some cross fights on Raw and SmackDown for the next couple weeks to just bring the violence back.
I need to feel like when you niggas step in this cage on November 28th or 9th, I really need to feel like you do not fuck with these niggas. Because right now, I only feel that for a few people.
Yeah.
Like, I know CM Punk don't fuck with Division. They've been in his way the whole, like, half the year. I know Jey Uso don't fuck with Division. They've been in his way for about half the year.
And, you know, we've been kind of, like, upset about it. But, Logan, if you want to have your moment, this is your match to do it in. If you want to do something crazy just for, like, your little Hot Jones, whatever, this is the match to give you a little leeway. So I hope you pull something out your hat, because this match needs to have something special.
Yeah. Listen, I really think that it is structurally impossible for this nigga to fail in this match, bro. You are quite literally a spot guy. You like to jump off of shit. You like to do all this other shit. It is structurally impossible for you to fail. If you do, that's on you. Because frankly, I ain't gonna lie, Logan Paul got a little bit of bank with me just because off of the Clash in Paris match. That was the last time we seen him, and I thought that was very good. A lot of people don't want to admit it because it's Logan Paul, but I thought it was very good. Like, I don't feel like he was carried. I do feel like there's stuff he could have done better. I feel like he could have been a little sharper. But I got a lot more out of that match than I thought I would get. So, hey man, if you like I said, this match is structurally designed for you for the things you do. So if you fail, I just don't know. I don't know what else to tell you. I really don't. But like you said, the next few weeks this does need to rev up, because I don't feel like all of the participants do not make sense to me. That's just what it is. None of that shit makes sense to me right now. And frankly, I want to know who the Vision's 4th man is, because the street saying it's actually not going to be who we thought it was. Like he not. Apparently they asked him to do it and he said no. I don't know how true that is. But if they did, God bless, because I don't want to.
I never doubted you.
Like, I don't want to see you in 2 cages getting blown up after 5 minutes. So that's cool with me. I think they're going the 4v4 route for the women. I don't know if they're doing the 5v5 for the men. Allegedly, if they do the 5v5, we obviously know one of them is going to be OTC, but they're saying like it's probably going to be John Cena in that last spot, and it's going to be like a God level Avenger squad. And again, don't mind, but like, John, you don't hate these niggas, bro. It'd be cool as fuck to see you in a Wargames match.
What are you saying? Fuck me for?
Yeah, but what beef you got with Division other than that one time they interfered with your championship match and you didn't lose? You didn't fucking lose, and you AA'd Bronson Reed. Hey, I don't know.
Our executive producer Tyler mentioned that Jey Uso turning heel. You see that happening, or any heel turns?
I feel like at this point you have to, because anything else is a waste of fucking time. And I say this because now that we're past like him winning the world championship, and like now I don't got to worry about him turning heel and winning the championship. Mm-hmm. Like we just worry about turning him heel. It's a waste of fucking time if you don't do it, because you've sat here all these months. How long ago was Clash in Paris? Like 2 months ago? July, August? It was late August, I remember now. You sat here for all these months and you told this story of, man, I'd be world champion if I wasn't helping my cousin out. I'd be world champion if I wasn't helping my brother not get his ass kicked by the Vision. I'd be world champion this if I... You told this story for all these months that everybody is in Jey Uso's way. So here's what you, in my opinion, you have to do it. Because otherwise, you was just wasting our time for 2 hours a week telling us that Jey Uso is different and he's listening to himself now and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, no. Do this shit. No, and while I don't necessarily want to see another Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns match, I was there in person for that. It was very unfortunate. You kind of have to do it. You niggas better start putting them Yeet t-shirts on discount. That shit is over. It's time to get back to this right hand. Well, I ain't gonna say right hand man because he don't need to go back to being a sidekick. Whether niggas want to hear that or not, he don't need to go back to being a sidekick. But in terms of the character, it needs to be reminiscent of what right hand Jey Uso was. Nigga who real ruthless, nigga who ready to crash out, nigga who really not taking shit from nobody and not trying to hear that shit. Like very hot head energy. But anything else other than that is a waste of time.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's time for something fresh with Jay, man.
Yeah. Especially since Jimmy finna go off and care for a newborn anyway. Let's go ahead and get this shit out the way, man. You got anything?
I'm good, man. We got it, man. We did it.
Yeah. Hopefully SmackDown is not dog shit this week. I would very much like to cover SmackDown, but
For real,
I'm at the point where like if these niggas don't care about it, why should I?
Exactly.
Why should I? So with that, we're going to close. We will be back next week. Unless something comes up, don't think it will.
I don't know. I got a game on Tuesday. I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Oh shit.
We'll see
Well,
how that goes.
yeah. I guess we'll see. Maybe Wednesday, but by then, we will have made a little bit of headway in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Don't know if they'll show us a bracket or not, but we'll have a clear idea of that. John Cena is said to be wrestling in Madison Square Garden next week, so maybe we see the one and the only John Cena Intercontinental Championship Open Challenge. That is my assumption. And
shout out Jade. She did it.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Jade. Like I said, I know SmackDown is pretty dark, and I know some people aren't even like necessarily high on Jade, but like I have a lot of belief in this, just off of the strength of, and I said this when we were on last. This is the character she should have been playing all along. She never seemed super comfortable to me being a babyface. It never, like a lot of people would like watch her backstage segments and promos and like they don't necessarily come off as organic. Mm-hmm. And maybe they're not. Maybe they weren't. Because when you see Jade Cargill, it's very much like I'm that bitch energy. And she's finally bringing that to her character. So I have a lot of faith in this. I really do. Anything good? Yeah. That was episode 25, though, man. Great to be here as always. We hope to see you next week.
Like, share, subscribe,
comment,
tell a friend.
Yeah. Let me get us back active on the TikTok, man. I've been slipping in this.
Yeah, me too,
and this Opus clip money is coming out of my account, so I'm gonna make sure I'm using it. But yeah, man. Peace.